My name is Ramona Costea, and I'm from Iași, which is the third largest city of Romania. And together with my colleagues, we have developed a project to raise awareness about the instances of industrial heritage in our city. Here is the most iconic building in our city. I will present briefly its context. So this is more or less a map of the Balkans in which you can identify Romania here. And Iași is right over here. It's very close to the border with Moldova and Ukraine. It was historically a very important city placed at the crossroads of two main commercial roads. One which linked the Black Sea over here with the Northern Sea far in the north, and then one which connected the Eastern world with the Western world. So it's very easily understandable that it had great premises for developing industries. This is the city of Iași. You can identify the central area more or less in this triangle here. And we've identified 8 of the most important industrial sites. You can see that the first few are very close to the city center, which is this one, and the other 3 occupy large portions of the city, are kind of further away, but still in the vicinity and within a few minutes of reach with public transportation or by car. Here are the buildings we've studied: the cigarette factory, the Frumoasa workshops, the public bath, the tram depot. And you can see that we have here 2 categories of places. The first ones are date back to the end of the 19th century. And the latter ones are from the middle of the 20th century. And I should explain here matters of historical context, which is the fact that the first ones date back to the pre-war period, so before the 2 world wars. Of course, the community who would have been nostalgic about these buildings is now long gone. And they were rather regarded as instances of a lost world when the communist era raised to power. The communist era began somewhere in the middle of the 20th century in 1945. So of course, it meant political change, but not only political change, it meant redefining how the built environment looks. It meant bettering the living conditions for most of the population. But of course, as you may already probably know, the communist era was also a grand time of destruction. It decimated the intellectual elite of the country. It modified the structure of the society in ways that later on was visible in the way in which people treated the memory of communism and its buildings also. So the latter buildings, which are the furniture factory, the district heating plant, the National Institute for Research and Construction, and the heavy equipment and industrial machinery manufacturing, were actually advanced buildings with regards to engineering progress. But because they belonged to the communist era, they were held in disgrace with regards to the emotional attitude which the public had towards them. So I'm going to list all of these examples. This is the cigarette factory as it was. You can observe here that it has lost an entire floor, which is the one in the upper part. And this is the cigarette factory today. This is another building from the same ensemble, and this is how it looks now. It actually bears quite a fascination for the young people. Festival was even held here, which was an interesting part of reviving this part of the city that is visibly in a very, very advanced state of decay. You can see here that parts of the buildings are missing. There's graffiti, and the general attitude towards these buildings is that it has no value whatsoever in the general consciousness of the community. The Frumoasa workshops was a place very intimately linked to the development of the railroads in Romania, and especially in the eastern part. Here is where they repaired and produced wagons. And only two of the entire ensemble, which was much larger than what you see here now. Only two remained, and unfortunately, 10 years ago, we've lost this beautiful tower. It was a former water tower, and it was replaced by the communist water tower here, which was also demolished, of course. Then the power plant of the public bath. This is the public bath. The public bath is actually of a more recent date than the building of its power plant. This is a very beautiful building. You can see the power plant here. This is the public bath. 10 years ago, it was still used. Well, of course, nowadays it's been massacred by the fact that people no longer go to a public bath, but they go to gyms and newly built pools. And sadly, this is how it is now. It is a center for the homeless people. So this is how heritage is being regarded today, unfortunately. The tram depot was linked to a very interesting story, which I will tell you later on. It's still a tram depot today, but it has lost the bits that were older about it and replaced with newer communist ones. Although the communist ones have, as I was telling you, interesting engineering details. The tram depot as it is now, it hosts a lot of historical trams. And the interesting story is that Romania has imported a lot of secondhand trams from all over Europe. And a new kind of tourism is developing right now, in which older people from Europe come to Iaşi with their grandchildren, and they want to show their grandchildren the trams of their youth. And we have thematic tram guided tours throughout the city. So this developed into a project of painting trams, and we are the city of painted trams. You can see here we even have the tram of Spain. This one, and a lot of other trams that are dedicated either to the arts, to the Belle Epoque, to the revolution, to the Romanian Revolution, and they each tell a story that's important in our cultural and in the space of our memory. The Moldomobila Furniture Factory was another place in which we have found that parts of the buildings and parts of the structural framework of the buildings were especially designed for this factory. So they were a unique element. This was the factory about 10 years ago. This was the factory about 1 year ago. It was set on fire, as many heritage places seem to be now. And this is from a few days ago. They started demolition because they will be building, of course, residential homes and supermarkets. Because the general tendency of real estate developers, of course, is that heritage has little value in a contrast with the land it stands on. So the land becomes more valuable. We've come to the conclusion that these places are quite in danger, and we have to of course raise awareness. The district heating plant still functions. It's still there in a bad state of decay, but I think this is the next one which will be facing demolition or destruction soon enough. The Institute for Construction is still used, again in a very bad shape. And then the heavy equipment and industrial machinery manufacturing, which occupies a consistent part of our city, bears very interesting images which can transcend into post-apocalyptic visions and aesthetics, which we find that we find them very interesting. Of course, you can't bring this image to the public and try to convince the general audience that this is a valuable place and it should be kept. So we raised the question to ourselves: how can we reinvest the community with the want and the feeling of reappropriating these examples? So a few more photographs. Of course, nature has taken over. And for us, architects is a very interesting place. It's got U-glass, it's got cotton steel, it's got light from the above. Yeah, but then we have to explain this to the public. So we've started developing platform, an online platform in which we will be posting examples and photographies of all of these projects. And we will also be posting informations from archives about data about the history, a representative photo, and of course synthetic information. Then the general information which might be interesting to developers, like the build surface, structural types, plans and sections, and information which might be of interest to entities wanting to restore and convert these examples. And then, of course, history. Okay, the technical value, which should place whether the structure is safe or not. Then the site plan, in which one might identify possible connections with the city. The building condition, of course, and then the feel of space, in which we will be promoting visuals to stimulate emotions. And of course, documenting everything. And we've asked our students to produce illustrations because to us, this is the answer to reinvest the public with the possibility of what could happen there, what there could be interesting and beautiful. And here, well, you can see a bit of Caixa Forum inspiration. This is the cigarette factory, which will, in the vision of our students, could be a very interesting festival place. The Frumoasa workshop, which is a community center. The power plant of the public bath, and the public bath, which could develop into a very interesting library for students. Then the tram depot with a museum hosting its trams in proper conditions. The furniture factory would be a place of showcasing design, furniture, and materials because it's very close to the actual industrial site in Iaşi right now. The district heating plant bringing amazing experiences in these concrete structures. And then the Institute for Construction, which could be, again, a student hub. While the heavy equipment and the industrial machinery manufacturing would be a place for the artists on arts campus, especially because of its dimension and its capability of hosting impressive large-scale experiments, installations, and events indoor. So this would be our project. Thank you.